Yeah.
All right. Hi, everybody. We are live. Welcome. We are here to talk about creative entrepreneurship today. And I'm just going to go ahead and have everybody introduce themselves. I'm Kara Britton. And go ahead.
I'm Taylor Hungerford.
I'm Leah Finkelstein.
Hi, I'm Maia Akiva on tech, obviously.
Yes, she's our wonderful tech person today. Okay, so yes, I'll just go ahead and dive in. I have a question here that we can start with. I constantly feel overwhelmed and it's taking away all my motivation to create or innovate. How can I get my groove back when the world is on fire? Should I even expect that time like these?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'll start with you, Leah.
Well, I get it. This has not been the easiest year. I write, so I'm a composer, but I've also done comedy and I perform live music. I used to perform live music, prior to 2020, and we shall again once this pandemic is over. But what I do is I write with my writing partner, and we work on a show weekly, and we have to produce and create and record a lot of content. And it's hard. It's hard some days when you're aware of the news and there's just it does feel like the world is on fire. And I think for me, I have to sometimes allow myself to carve out some space to just have a freak out. Just let yourself do it. Just feel all the feels and feel what you need to feel, and give yourself that time. And then this is what I do. And then I just sort of shake it off, and then I put it over there, and then I get to work. So that's what I've tried to do as best as I can, which is not easy. But I think it's, if I allow myself that time, then it doesn't sort of creep into the creative process. So that's my 2 cents.
Can you repeat the question again, just to make sure?
Oop, do we have a freeze?
Cara froze. All right, let me go and.
To me.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, what happened?
You froze, Cara.
Oh no! I know. I was like,
welcome to Facebook Live. Cara, can you repeat the questions again, if you don't mind? If you have it in front of you.
Yes. So the one that we were just talking about, probably.
Yes.
I constantly feel overwhelmed and it's taking away all my motivation to create or innovate. How can I get my groove back? And when the world is on fire, should I even expect to do that in these times?
Okay, well, that's a very loaded question, as Leah said. Yeah, I think I think like the first part of it is, what do you do when you're overwhelmed anyway? And I think what I learned for me, what works for me, is to acknowledge the overwhelming and not pretend that it's not there. So right away, you're kind of like in reality and understand that something is off and you're overwhelmed. And it's very easy now because you share definitely a collective things, and everybody's overwhelmed, and you know why you're overwhelmed. There's a pandemic. Oh, I'm overwhelmed. Okay, it's not a mystery. And then try to figure out what helped you in the past when you were overwhelmed. What can you do now? Try a few things, see if they help you or not help you. Talk to other people. How do they get over being overwhelmed and moving forward? And allow yourself to be not accomplished as you were, and have compassion and understand that what you're going through. And from my experience, all of those things will make space for you to be inspired again and start slowly to breathe again, and start slowly to be able to create again. But it's a day-to-day process. That's kind of like the emotional part of it. And then just start taking action whenever you can. Do prioritizing list, do action list, figure out what you need to do. So the combination of those, I think, is a very good moving forward.
Absolutely. I completely agree. How about you, Taylor?
Well, you know, a question like that, I think it's very one as existential, but also it's something that like I can't give a definite single answer to because I think at the end of the day the answer is going to be different for everyone. So I feel the best I can do is like try to, say maybe how to get to the answer. And so, you know, I think maybe a basic stepping stone is like stuff that invokes sanity because like like this world, the way that it's been behaving this year, like it's literally like chopping away at our sanity. Like it's becoming a little bit more normal, but like the way that I've sort of like dealt with that is I had a little book club, and also done reading. I read Camus' The Plague, which is very topical right now, but also Nausea by Sartre, and the whole goal that those guys try to pursue is like how do I exist in like this world, like this world that seems very cruel and meaningless and hopeless at times. And so at least for me, because I was telling you guys earlier, like a lot of the reason why I do music is to perform live and interact with people. And I've had that taken away from me, like for like 6 months. I played some shows that were probably illegal, um, but like that's all that I've been able to get of it. And like so what have I been able to do to like fill like that void? And for me, the answer that I arrive at is something that gives my life meaning and form is uh, just I have to create in order to be sane. Like if it's something
Right.
that like I can not do,
Right.
and but like with me, like as this person said that they were creative. Did they? I didn't catch what they were creative in. Where was it? Songs? Did they write stories or did it say?
It doesn't say, but
Okay.
I think I do know who asked this question, and I think she is creative like you both.
Mm.
Well, with music and everything.
Oh, music. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I write new songs because I want to be able to test them out on an audience and see how people react. And now that I've lost that, like the way that I filled it is well, one, I've been recording my next album with my producer, which has been very excellent. But I've also put on like a little Americana festival once a month that I've been having a lot of fun with, and I've been reading a lot more. I haven't read this much in a very long time, and
Right.
so you know if it's something that you feel that you must do, you will find a way to do it. But begin by asking what makes yourself sane, so that you may pursue it.
No, and
Absolutely.
that's one thing too, for me, and this is different for everyone. I mean, I do comedy, so I laughter is
Mhm.
huge.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things
Yeah.
that's great is that my writing partner and I, we're composing pieces, but we did perform comedy together. So we laugh a lot, really hard, as much as
Oh yeah.
possible. And that really, really just helps because sometimes you just have
Oh,
to find
absolutely.
the funny. Just,
I think laughing is so therapeutic too.
yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can relate because I have a comedy partner as well, and we have not stopped since the pandemic doing lives together because we do a lot of
Right.
character comedy.
Oh,
So
fun.
cool.
we'll just improvise and we riff, go off the cuff and just come up with an idea. Okay, we're going to do these two characters. What's the story about? And then we go off and do it. And we usually do it on Instagram Live. And we do about 15 minutes and then show it back on Facebook at a watch party.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but it's been a nice way to keep that going and laughing, like you said, because yeah, I miss laughter too, having laughs. I miss laughter.
Yeah, I mean,
can't hear the laughs anymore.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Oh my God! If you watch SNL,
Yeah.
they got it done.
So good. So good.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I also do something else that's really fun. Since people take advantage of Zoom, just like we are today, I have a group of friends. We every Sunday night do a game night through Zoom. And there's little online games you can do together, and it really just kind of raises your morale. And every time it starts my week off right. So I'm all about that. Creative. I've tried to, even when I'm not doing stuff with my comedy partner, I try to create character stuff on my own if I come up with a funny. Yeah.
That's a good point too. I had a friend who we would have our Zoom parties, and sometimes they'd have a theme. Like we did a Frida Kahlo Zoom party. We all just drew a unibrow.
That's awesome. I love that.
It's just, I mean, because we did wigs, we wore wigs, I mean.
Right.
Because
happy hours.
Yeah.
We can do happy hours on Zoom.
Happy hours in 2020. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Happy hours all day long in 20 minutes.
Exactly.
It's cocktail o'clock,
Right?
Well, Zoom happy hours are so like May 2020,
Exactly.
Zoom happy hours are already passe. We're already almost out of this.
Yeah.
Now it's parks happy hour.
Yes.
Going to the park.
And walktails. Walktails are fun.
Walktails.
Yeah.
Walktails?
Get a cocktail to go and walk the street with your friends. That's fun.
I like that.
Walktails. You just
I love that.
because at this point, like so you just walk down the street and just go for a walk with your cocktail. Because I mean, it's fine. We can drink outside now. I think it's allowed.
Yeah, I hope that stays after this is all over.
Me too. You're just like, well, it's just New Orleans for everyone.
I think it's a great idea.
I do too.
Yeah.
All about.
Yeah. Well, back to some entrepreneurship discussions. Speaking of cocktail, no. This question asks, I had what I thought was a great idea for a business, but after a year, it still isn't taking off. How do I know when it's time to give up, or if I just need to find a better marketing plan? All right, who wants to tackle that one first, Maya?
Sure, yeah, I'll talk about it. I mean, the whole idea of, I'm not going to be able to say it right because of my English is a second language, but creative entrepreneurship, that's how you say it. I came across it like a year ago or 2 years ago. I heard somebody say it and I just loved it. I was like, oh, finally somebody defines who I am, because when people ask me what I do, there's 10 different things. They're all involved creativity and other things. They're all a stream of incomes, but you can't put them in one word or one sentence. So creative entrepreneurs is like my new favorite thing. And I put it on my Facebook, on my Instagram. That's who I am. That's my definition of what I do. And to answer that questions about the business, that is unfortunately something that you have to deal with when you have your own business, even if it's a very small solopreneurship business. In my immaturity days, I used to blame the world for not buying things that I sold. As I become more experienced with business and learn more about business, I realized that there is a system to the madness of marketing and business and all of that, and that the fact that a business doesn't work can mean one of those two things that the question referred to. It can mean that the marketing is wrong. It can mean that the target audience is wrong, or it can mean that it's just something that people don't want to buy. meaning it can be like priced wrong, meaning eventually you can sell anything, but the key is to have the right product in the right price to the right people.
Mhm.
What I would say is, I know it's frustrating, and I know that, of course, as creative entrepreneurship, I can say that, of course, the bottom line is you have to take care of yourself financially. So if you need to put a hold on it, or if you need to spend less time on it while you make money in different ways, that's totally understandable. But I'm taking a marketing course right now, and she explained it very well. Find people that you think will want to buy your product and interview them. Like, ask them question: will they buy this product? How much they pay for it? Why are they not interested in buying? And get like information about it, so then you can find out why it's not selling. And then according to their response, try it a different way. Lower the price, do testing, try a different target audience. But just because it doesn't happen doesn't mean that it can happen. It just means that you have to do a little bit more research about why it's not working.
That's very good. I love that.
Yeah.
How, how about you, Leah?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing I would do is ask myself if I love it. Do I love what I'm trying to do? I've been pursuing a career in music and as a composer for like 20 years, since I was like 12. Um, true. But it's not true. But I think that it depends on the person, right? There were so many years that I struggled and I needed a second day job to, supplement my income while I pursued music. And it was only 3 years ago that I was able to do music full time. I mean, that took me almost 20 years. Could other people in that position, might other people have like jumped ship and said, forget it, I'm just going to have a more traditional career and have a job and do a thing? Other people might have. People have been like, I'm really sick of being broke and stressed out and not know when the next job is coming. But I couldn't help it. I just love it. It's, I mean, you have to love it to stick it out in this business, first of all. And just when I think I'm going to give up and be like, this is awful, and it's just like heart wrenching to just struggle and think that you could do it, but then all of a sudden you think you book something and then you don't book something or whatever it is. And then, you turn around, all of a sudden I book a film to score for the first time ever. And you're like, oh my gosh. And then you're back into it and you're like, woohoo. And then, it's a dry spell for a little while and your heart sinks. So it's going to be like this. There are always going to be times where you're like, God, do I just give up? But if you love it, don't. I mean, you've heard this, what is the saying? It takes, 20 years to become an overnight success. So it might not be, if you're passionate about it and you believe in whatever business it is, just try different strategies. If your strategy is not getting you to where you want, then look at that. Maybe not the business itself, if you're passionate about what it is, but say, okay, well, let's try a different route to get this off the ground. So, but if you love it, don't give up.
Yes, absolutely. I to bounce off of that, I've been an actress in LA for 11 years now.
Yeah.
I pursued it since I was 12. I really did. But it was in Colorado. So I know that doesn't, I mean, it counts. It just doesn't LA count.
I got you.
Moved here, but I know one thing whenever I have, and of course lately, of course, it's felt like, oh, is anything ever going to happen? I constantly have that. And I question, I'm like, am I crazy to still be pursuing this at my age? Always the insecure questions most actors ask themselves. But like you said, I mean, I always look back on where it all began, in my youth. And I think of that girl, and I am that girl, of course, just older. And I'm like, I still love it. I still love it. I still have a passion for it. I just have to sometimes try different angles. Just like I told you guys, I was looking into voiceover more right now because it's just the perfect thing to do right now when you're at home.
Totally.
My walk-in closet is my little studio.
Oh my gosh, it's a great, closets are a really good vocal booth.
They really are. They're amazing.
Yeah,
And I bought a new mic and everything. I got the whole setup. So
Nice.
totally.
plus it forced me to clean my closet, which you needed to happen.
Exactly.
But yeah, how about you, Taylor? How do you feel about this question?
Well, I guess I'm not the best person to answer in the sense I've never really been a business person. I just there's some things that I know just will bring me no money that I love doing, and stuff that will bring me lots of money but I hate doing.
Yeah.
Uh, and but
Right.
that's also through the discomfort comes like other talents that you foster in order to support this thing that you believe you need to do. I kind of carry that over from my last question. It's something that you feel like you absolutely have to do, then you'll figure a way to do it. Because I mean, I don't know, just making dough. Like if that was my goal with music, I would have quit a while ago,
Yeah.
because it's been like pretty much a hole this whole time through, and just like tossing money down there, seeing if anything comes back up. But because of that, I've had to do graphic design, and now people want me to do that for them. And
Mm.
I got a day job as a video editor, and so I can do that. And I've cut promos for other bands, um, and I've also designed posters for other bands. And so even though, because it's if you ask me, it's like what would you want to be doing right now? It's like I want to be doing music, and maybe like directing a western when I'm not on tour. That'd be the ideal. Um, but I'm not doing those things full time, but I've seen a lot of other accidental things blossom out of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess foster your talents and ask, what makes you happy, but also, don't be afraid to uh, surprise yourself, because you
Mm.
might know some know how to do something you didn't know you knew how to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you figure somehow some other angle to go about it. You might find something new that you like pursuing it. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting. Let's see. I saw a question here that was perfect. And now I'm like, where did it go? Oh, I like my little business, but sometimes I worry that I'm alienating my friends and family with all my business promotion posts on social media. How do I branch out and get new customers who aren't in my personal acquaintance so I don't have to sell to my friends?
I mean, that
That's
is
it.
the $64,000 question, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say, actually, from my because I do that, and have done that all the time, like just constantly like blasting people with like, hey, come to my show, blah, blah, blah. And after time, you kind of know when you're wearing out your welcome or getting annoying. But Facebook does have targeted marketing campaigns that you can experiment with, and you can type in specific demographics, because basically you're telling the world's smartest AI, and Facebook knows more about you and your friends than you'll ever know about yourself and those around you.
It's true. Yeah.
And you have the opportunity to use this crazy godlike force to get people
Yeah.
to buy your crap. And so
Yeah.
totally look into that. And it's not that expensive.
No.
I think they can do budgets of $100 a month.
Mhm.
Mm,
But yeah, that'd be my answer.
yeah.
I completely agree. You have to take it there. We were just talking about, I don't know how many of you have seen the social dilemma. So it makes you look at social media with a sort of a different eye, but it's sort of a necessary evil sometimes, and that's you use it to your advantage. I was helping someone who was trying to launch a platform for all surrounding around a book that he wanted to write about, child abuse, which is heartbreaking in and of itself. But he said, how do I reach out and find people who would want to help in that endeavor? And I was like, go on Twitter and find people that speak about the subject and follow them and tweet to them. And, use Instagram like that, find and follow the people that are going to be interested in your particular business, follow them, and tag those people on your posts, and just take every advantage that social media unfortunately does have for all of us. To Taylor's point, there are such great targeted Facebook ads, that don't break the bank. I have a friend who just started her own business, and I see her ads on my Facebook all the time. I know she didn't spend a whole lot of money on it. And she got orders for her product from people in Chicago, and she was able to, quick other thing, not only was she able to target the demographic for her business, but you can, if someone clicks on your website, you can find out who that person is and what other things they have clicked on, and direct market to them. It's really creepy, but that's what every single business and company does now, that you might as well take advantage of it and learn how it works, so that you can sort of target that marketing.
Oh yeah, I've been on the other side of things. I've seen ads on Facebook for like t-shirts or things, and I'll be like, I want that. I must have that t-shirt. And I click on it, and sure enough, I'm one of those people. It probably picked up that I liked, like, for example, I bought this Supernatural shirt because I'm a Supernatural fan, and sad the show ended. But I saw this amazing t-shirt that had one of the characters on it that was meshed with a painting. And I was like, I must have this shirt. And I'm like, I'm sure they heard me watching it.
Oh my God.
It,
Yes, that's what quick aside. I was watching, it was a Sunday. I was cleaning. I wasn't really paying attention. I had direct TV at the time, so it was not connected to the internet. And Jaws happened to be on, because Jaws is always on sometime in the weekend. So it was just on in the background, and I was cleaning and I was doing other things. And all of a sudden that scene came on with Robert Shaw, that scene where he's talking about how what happened to him in the Navy and all of this, they were attacked by sharks. Anyway, great scene, phenomenal monologue. My husband and I, we stopped what we were doing. We're like, God, Robert Shaw was so good in this scene. And this was such a fantastic monologue. So good, so good. And I was like, anyway, I continued cleaning, and I went upstairs, and I wasn't watching the movie anymore, but it was still on downstairs. And I go on my Facebook, and I see an ad for a t-shirt with Robert Shaw's face on it. And I was like, wait a second, how did that happen? I started to look at the internet. Was it my phone? Is it my, it must have been, it must have been my phone. So, they're listening.
It's kind of creepy.
It's so creepy. And I bought the t-shirt, so there you go.
It worked.
Right here.
Before too, where I was eating these chocolate, like every Easter, there's like these chocolate eggs. They're like, I forgot what they're called, like shiny eggs or something.
Right.
I was eating one, and I put the bag down, and then later that day, I looked on my phone on Instagram, and sure enough, there was an ad for that on there, and I was like,
so weird.
That's creepy.
It was
man.
creepy.
It is creepy.
That
It's
is so creepy.
By the way, we're all going to get advertisements for things that are Jaws and shiny egg related, right? When
They predicted this in do you guys remember Minority Report with Tom Cruise?
Yes.
Yeah, on the behind the scenes, like when they were scanning their eyes, because like he's walking through that hallway, and I think like he has a Guinness advertised to him in a Lexus, and they were saying that the whole purpose of it was so that they could like track your buying habits and like advertise specifically to you. It's like not everybody's gonna buy a Lexus or a Guinness,
but you might.
I'd buy a Guinness.
I'd buy a Guinness and a Lexus.
I'm a Guinness kind of girl.
Well, there goes that point.
Lexus, I'll hold off on the car. I'm too broke.
I know.
I like my car. My car's fun. My car's so much
Yeah.
What do you have?
fun. '05 Acura TSX.
Nice.
Nice.
Not a Mustang because yes,
What year?
2012, but a convertible.
2012. Ooh, that's sexy.
It is
Yeah,
sexy. I love my car.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a that's a nice car.
Thank you.
I've got a sexy 2010 Honda Civic.
Yes.
It's
Nice.
very economical.
Yeah. Well, it is actually. It's super practical.
know?
My purchasing choice was not practical, but she was just so pretty.
Oh yeah, you gotta have a pretty car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Maya, I didn't hear your thoughts on the question. If you need me to repeat it, let me know.
No, I got it. I drive a 2012. I guess that's what we need to say that. 2012
Like, what
black
car do you drive, man?
Yeah, what you got?
Volkswagen Tiguan. And I love my car too.
Woo!
I guess, I mean, I agree with everything you guys said, and I want to have enough money to hire somebody to do what was done for you, because that's how you sell things now. It's great. Um, but yeah, I can share from my own experience. Again, I realize that I have to treat what I do as a business, because I'm a freelancer, and if I don't bring money in, there's no money. I went two directions. I figured out how much money can I afford per month to pay somebody to do all those things that I don't know how to do, marketing, and figured out how to target and how to do that. And the parts that I don't have somebody to that can do it for me, to learn how to do it and spend my time on it. Because unfortunately, and that I had a lot of resistance to it, and I had to really come to kind of like peace with myself, that I am a business owner. We all have businesses. I mean, we can ignore that it's a business, but it's a business. And unfortunately, business is a business. It needs marketing, and it needs client relations, and it needs follow-ups, and it needs everything. Everything that so what, like, I know I can post on Facebook and get some of my friends to like things or do things, but what I had to learn and hire people to do is, how do I get out of my circle? And there's amazing people out there who teaches you how to do it. And it's true, you can do it very cheaply today. It doesn't require like millions of dollars like it used to. So it's just treating it like a business. Go like, what is my marketing plan? How am I going to go sell what I'm offering, and I'm good at, but it needs to reach people. So yeah, that's how I built my business. A lot of refers and cold marketing. It depends which side of the business. Every side of the business that I have gets different business plan and marketing. Yeah, but I don't like it, but it's part of the beast. If it's freelancing, it's like a freelancing catch 22. We get to do what we want, and get to, like you guys said, make money for what we love, but that means that we have to do things that we are not crazy about, which is marketing and business and all of that.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I have for sometimes on the side of being an actor, I have a dog walking business. I kind of do on my own.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's it. I have been very fortunate. I get most of my dog clients through friends. So usually someone speaks to someone they know at work or something, that they say, oh yeah, Kara walks my dogs all the time. She's great. And that's how I get my little gigs. I've been very fortunate. I haven't had to use an app or anything. Not that I've heard great things about the apps, but it's just nice to have that. So I think, don't be afraid to sell to your friends. Maybe not necessarily sell to your friends, but maybe just be like, hey, if you know anyone who would be interested in this, like, it doesn't hurt to use your friends to help. That's like kind of what networking is.
Agreed.
In a way.
Agreed.
So yeah. Let's see. I saw another great question here. How do you stay positive and hopeful while broke and on unemployment? That's a good one for right now, everybody.
There is.
Well, I guess I do what Europe does and just austerity measures and live the simplest life possible. To the point where I can fill my day with things that make me happy and allow me to um, live in this world with a sort of joy.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that's the best I've got because I've been pretty damn broke before, and it's
Mm.
not easy. Lots of ramen, and by the way, ramen with an egg on it, super
Yeah.
cheap
Oh,
meal.
yes, I've
So,
agreed.
but so delicious, so delicious. Yeah,
Economical.
and
Yeah,
yeah, it's probably like I
that's
don't know, $2, $2.50 for that meal. Lots of
Right.
protein,
yeah, that's the way to do it.
lots of salt. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in. It is hard. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, my husband is a live sound engineer for big concerts, huge concerts. That's not happening. So, you know, uh, unemployment is running out for him and many other people the day after Christmas. Um, uh, so there are days where, and it kind of goes back to the first question, right? Sometimes you have to let yourself feel what you need to feel. Because sometimes it's like,
Mhm.
oh my God, I'm really stressed out. I feel really bummed. I need to sort of steep in this for a minute, you know, and then once again, put it on a shelf because you have to also remember that everything has an expiration date, and sometimes expiration dates are good things. This year is going to end. This pandemic is going to end. Things are going
Mhm.
to get better. The question mark as to the timeline of that is the hard part. But knowing that that will come is what keeps me going. I know this is not going to last forever. So when I have my sort of moment of having a boohoo fest, which sometimes we need to do, and I put it on the shelf,
Mhm.
I have to say, okay, this is not forever. What do I need to do to get me through this uncertain period so that when things are coming back, I'm ready for it, you know? And sometimes meditation is helpful for that. And I say that as someone who is horrible at being consistent with that. I wish I would practice what I preach, but that certainly does help. I kind of did a little bit today for the first time in like a month. So, I mean, it is good to do it consistently. But finding those, whatever it is that can bring you back to center and not let you fall into the hole of
Mm.
pessimism, really put it away once you're done with it, and then, you know, move on to what we need to do to survive.
Yeah.
And remembering that we're all going to be okay eventually. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, there's comfort in knowing we're not alone too. What do
Yes,
you think,
huge.
Maya?
yeah, I agree with everything Leah said. I think it's like, it's a two-level thing. It's like, first of all, as an adult, take care of yourself, get a
Mhm.
temporary job if you need to, don't get, yourself in trouble, and you don't want to get yourself into financial trouble that will be hard to get out of. So do whatever it is you need to take care of yourself. It's totally fine. It's understandable. Um, and then know that it's not going to be forever. But then on a deeper level, it's a lot of self-care. It's a really great time to discover and build a new relationship with yourself, and kind of like learn
Mhm.
what you need to support yourself, what encourage you, like Tyler said, what makes you happy so you can do it more. Just take care of yourself, because that will help you stay positive. Going into shame, blame, and judgment spiral is not going to help you. If depression gets triggered, which happened to me and a lot of people in this past year,
yeah,
it hasn't had happened in a long time. Take care of yourself, do what you need to do, go to therapy, talk to friends, make sure you talk to one person a day. learn what works for you. How can you take care of yourself? That's very, very important. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I this I this is the one year I chose to stop therapy, and I was like, boy, I've chosen a poor year to quit therapy.
Man, that was a poorly timed decision.
It really was. Like, I was like, you know what? I think I can handle everything on my own. I'm good. And then everything happened, and I was like, what was I thinking?
The world's just like, oh, you think you got this, huh?
Yeah, like I'm getting the ultimate test.
That's amazing.
But yeah, like I'm with you on all of that. I am currently unemployed myself because I was using a restaurant job as a survival job for a while. And of course, restaurants shut down. I took it as an opportunity to be like, I'm so tired of being at that restaurant. So I took it as, this is my way out. I've been wanting out from restaurants for a while now. So I jumped out of that. And then I got a temporary job recently for a retail store. And it turned out to be pretty stressful, like the restaurant, as far as like all the protocols. They were having me clean toilets, which really, one, I didn't want to do, and two, it just didn't feel like a very safe thing to do right now with exposure.
Yeah.
So I had to get back on unemployment again. And so it's one of those things where after I did that, I was feeling really horrible. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even keep a job right now. And I was starting to go down the shame road, like Maia mentioned, and I had to stop myself and be like, you know what? No, this is the time. You're supposed to focus on yourself. And we're doing a really good job at saving money and collecting unemployment. So, because we can't go anywhere, it's not like I'm going crazy with money, you know? So, yeah, it's been tough. And I just always try. I mean, I've always been an optimistic person. So I'm always trying to talk to myself kinder and just encourage myself. Like Leah says, it's going to get better. We're not alone in this. And yeah, you just gotta just take care of yourself. I agree with everybody on that subject. What do I do? Here's the next question, just to move on to that. What do I do when no one seems to have the right kind of comfort or answers that I'm looking for? It's tough.
Wait, read it again.
What do I do when no one seems to have the right kind of comfort or answers that I'm looking for?
Find the answer for yourself. Have a conversation with yourself. That's what I have, a podcast where I interview my feelings. Have a conversation with yourself. You can do it in many different ways. You can journal, you can talk to yourself in the mirror. I know it sounds a little extreme, but it's a very healing methods that's been done. But if you cannot find comfort or answers from other people, look at the people that you're talking to. Maybe there's people you can talk about those things with, and you need to find the people that you can. It's not to say that you should kick them out of your life, but maybe some people cannot talk to you about your depression because it's too triggering for them or they can't handle it. So look for the people who can. And it's okay to have boundaries with people and relationship. It's okay to tell people, no, I can't spend this time with you because you can't. I mean, don't tell them that, but it's okay to put boundaries around relationships, and try different people and different avenues and see who it can beneficial for you about different areas of your life. That's kind of like would be my answer. But also, we all have a lot of wisdom inside of ourselves, and you can do it with a professional, the therapy, or a course, or a coach, or something like that. And ask yourself questions. You can probably answer a lot of the question and give yourself comfort too.
That's good. Yeah. Leah?
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think, I think that it's to, while you're interviewing yourself, maybe ask yourself what it is that is being said to you and what it is that you want to have, what you wish that person had said. You know, what kind of guidance are you looking for? What were you hoping that all these people said? It actually kind of reminded me of a funny bit, this comic that I used to work with. So this really great bit where she's like, you know, yeah, last week I got into a fight with my husband. I got into a fight with my sister. I got into a fight with my best friend. And it made me have to look at myself and ask myself, why am I inviting all these people into my life who are so wrong? And it was just a funny bit. But the point to it, though, is that it's a bit, it's a joke. But the point is that, you know, there are people around you who love you, but maybe, oh, there's a kitty coming into the screen.
I know. I'm
Wow.
sorry.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
well, never
those
apologize
too.
for your kitty. I got my kitty over there. But no, and it's wonder, you know,
Put her in the promo.
it's so cute. Hi, little Bubs. But just take a look at the people who are giving you this advice. Ask yourself, what advice are they giving you, and why is it not hitting the mark? What mark do you want them to hit? There are, we are surrounded by millions and millions of people. There are people that will help you arrive at the answer that you're looking for and help you get there. But you have to keep searching until you find the person that really becomes that springboard for you, because that's not going to be, I mean, I have friends that sort of that you rely on for certain things. You have your friend that you might want to just go out and have a fun time with. That might not be the same friend that you talk about a feeling of depression with, right? So sometimes we have the different people in our life that sort of that we have for the different needs we have. I mean, you know, and you know, you rely on certain family members or certain friends for you know, a certain kind of advice or a certain kind of good time or a certain kind of conversation over others, just because everyone has their thing that they're good at.
Right.
You know, so I thought.
I've always been that friend that's a good listener. I used to always compare myself to a golden retriever. Be like, just throw me the ball. I'll be there for you. Anything you need.
Well, I'm gonna call you later.
Yeah, exactly. I just have always been the friend that people go, hey, can I vent something to you? And I'm like, okay, shoot, let's hear it. You know?
Yeah. That's a good
But then it's like, but then I'm always like, oh, wait, I have to remember I need a friend like that too. Sometimes I forget.
That's important. That's important.
Yeah.
That often happens when you become the go-to, you know, and then you're like, well, I need my go-to, you know.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's important to find. It's important to find that, but they're out there. So, you know,
Definitely.
they are out there.
How about you, Taylor? Any thoughts on it?
Well, it's a very multifaceted question because on one end of things, I think this person is asking like, how do I find like my right support group? Because, I am fortunate to have that. Like I have like a specific group of people that I call that, if I'm having a rough time, they can like listen to my shit and make me be realistic about things, but also make me feel better about things. Because like with folks around me, like I don't like sometimes it can just be like eating candy, like you were so right and everything you did was right, and you're wonderful, and like the truth of everything, like a loss as well as a gain is like to quote the Karate Kid, we always lose something. Because like even like if you win a contest, you lost your fear of pursuing something that you wanted or something or other. So but then there's also the fact of like how are you going about dealing with these specific things in your life, because I think I saw the Mr. Rogers movie about that reporter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, because I'd always watched it as a kid. And like, one of the reasons that I liked Mr. Rogers so much was because like, it was just very comforting to hear him. because like, you know, he told like every kid, like, you know, no matter like what's wrong with you, like, you know, the things that you think you screwed up on, like, you know, I think that you're a great person. And like, you
Mm,
know, it's really hard to like, you know, have that sort of forgiveness
Yeah.
with ourselves just as people, but also like, you know, it goes to what, you know, the reason that he did the show was to give people a way to deal with their emotions. And I think,
right.
you know, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. And that's why, like, you know, you seek out like the right friends, is because like, you know, you're feeling like screwed up, and it's just like, man, I'm feeling so screwed up, and how can I stop feeling screwed up, and like how do I face these things? And so like, you
Mm,
know, it's something that, you know, you have to, I think, arrive at to some degree, shape, or form in yourself, but also like, you know, with some assistance and perspective from those around you. Yeah.
definitely.
May
Oh
I
yeah.
add one thing to that, to your point? I don't think, piece of advice, it's to not be afraid to ask for what it is that you need when you're talking to
Mm,
someone. I've definitely, you know those friends where you're like, I have a problem, I want to talk to you about it, and all they do is sort of say, try to give you solutions. Well, you should do this. Well, why don't you do this? Well, blah 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 blah. And sometimes it's not what you need. You just need
right.
someone just to listen and be like, that sucks. I'm sorry you're having a hard day. And it's
Hmm.
okay to say to that person, hey, I have something that I want to talk to you about. I love you. I don't need, and I don't want to, I don't necessarily need advice. Can you just listen to me and tell me that, you know, that just listen to me and commiserate. That's all I need. So it's
Mm,
okay to tell the person what it is that you're looking for, because sometimes
right.
you don't know, you know.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. That kind of is great for our next question. I have a friend who's so depressed.
mm,
How can I help her feel better without getting depressed as a listener? So,
Hmm.
whoosh, that's hard.
And I would, but some of these, it's just like, man, there's a lot of details I want to know about, like,
I know.
I know.
'cause, man,
Well, because
people.
my first question is how depressed is it? Concerning depression? Is
Yeah.
are they uh, any are they in a dangerous state of depression,
Mm,
or are they just Eeyore? You know, I mean,
right.
what's happening? So,
Good
um,
point.
Yeah, man, these
You know,
questions are pretty heavy. People are going
they
through it right
are.
now.
well,
I
that
know. You know what? Even to twist it to get back to a little bit of entrepreneurship, do you guys think that there's a way to take sad energy, sad feelings, depression, and express yourself creatively?
yes,
Oh
100%,
yeah.
100%. I mean, some of the most incredible art comes out of despair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, when you're listening, I just listened to another panel discussion the other day about music, and it was really about how to make money in music. So that's what it was really about. But it was one of the things that kept coming up, and when these individuals were talking about it, found themselves being successful is when they were authentic to themselves. You know,
Mm,
I mean, when you say, I mean, you know, that song that's on the iPhone commercial, that hello, that's a great track, and she just made a ton of money. She's in all the iPhone commercials. It's great, right? Of course, we all want to write that song, but I don't write like that. So
mm,
I can try and write like that, but that's not my authentic self, right? I have to write what I know and what is authentic to me and what is my own experience. And sometimes that experience is something that's dark and sad, and but it's real, and people will understand and be able to relate to a song maybe about loss, a song maybe about feeling hopeless. You know,
mm,
the trick is with your friend. You know, if your friend is creative, to talk to them about how to channel that. But also make sure that that person does not exist in that land solely, because you know,
mm.
we have to get out of that and not be in that 100% of the time. And if they're in there 100% of the time, you know, it's hard. I mean, I don't think anyone has the answer of A, how do you get your friend out of that? B, how do you not get dragged down to the pit of despair yourself? To
Right.
Maya's point earlier, self-care, making sure that you're okay. It's that old story of, you know, when the mother and the baby on an airplane and oxygen mask comes down. And of course, you know, the thought is you put the oxygen mask on the baby first. No, you have to put it on the mother first, because the mother needs to have the oxygen and needs to be safe so that she can save the baby, who is 100% reliant on the mother. Right. So it's making sure that you are in a place that can be safe and stable enough to help your friend.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's my thought.
Yeah. I come from an artist family. So my dad and my sister are really talented artists. Like my dad does oil paintings.
Oh,
My
cool.
sister does these amazing sketch work, graphic design, everything. I have started to notice I pick up drawing as a habit. I like to do charcoal drawings.
Oh, cool.
And I have found, especially because I kind of suffer with anxiety a little bit, I call them de-stress sketches, but I'll just, if I'm like stressed or overwhelmed emotionally, I'll just sit there and sketch something, even if I'm mimicking something I see or whatever. And I find the most sad, depressed, or stressed I am, the better the drawing, which I think is interesting. And I think it's because I'm taking all of those emotions and I'm putting them to the pencil and I'm just focusing on the detail. So it's kind of an interesting way. I think finding some way to express yourself, whether it's writing or drawing or whatever you love to do, painting, that I think it's therapy in its own way.
And it speaks to a lot of people too. It really,
Right.
it helps with that whole feeling of not being alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. How about Maya? Do you have any thoughts on it?
You guys, pretty much nailed it. I would say that if a friend is in despair, always just ask them what they need. It's
Mm-hmm.
always a good way to go, because sometimes they just need to tell you that, and then they don't ever talk to about it. You never know what they need. So
Yeah.
it's always, yeah, just kind of like find out how you can be of help to them. That's always a good way to go.
Agreed.
Definitely. Yeah. How about you, Taylor? Any thoughts?
I mean, I write country and Americana music, and a lot of that stuff is just based in feeling like crap. So whenever I do feel bad, I'm just like, oh boy, I'm gonna get a nice song out of this. Um, but I guess there's also a sort of masochistic tendency and all that. But you know, I've had folks in my life that have just been incredibly negative like all the time, and you know if your friend has like a circle of support, like definitely be there for them. But at the same time, like if this is getting to like possibly, I don't know, maybe you're going through some things yourself, and to what other folks in the group were saying, like it's time to look in on how you're feeling, so that you can tend to this person. And like if it just gets to a point where you have to say like dude, like I got my own stuff to deal with, just know that that's okay. Because you also have to look at it in the way it's like you want to be in the best shape to help your friend, and that begins by asking how you're doing yourself. So that's a piece of advice.
That's good advice. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How are we doing on time? We gotta wrap things up here soon. 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think we have to go.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Leah, Maya, and Taylor, for joining us today. You guys gave some really great advice and very inspiring with entrepreneurship and creativity and coping. I think that was also a big topic we talked about. Coping.
Yeah.
And just, I don't think like giving up, don't give up. I think that's important when it comes to your creating and
Take
just
care of yourself.
yes, believe in yourself, take care of yourself, It's okay to have a moment to boohoo if you need to.
Watch some
We all
Bob Ross episodes. It's so calming.
Yes, make a happy tree. I love Bob Ross.
Yeah, me
My
too.
father used to watch him a lot when he would paint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just turn all your mistakes into trees. That's the
Exactly.
lesson of that show.
That is entrepreneurship, really. Turn
Yeah.
your mistakes into trees.
There's no
I
bad
love that.
decisions, just lots of trees.
Right. I love that.
I do too.
Just
That
lots
is
of trees. But I think that's a perfect way to cap off this whole conversation.
I do too. That could have been more perfect.
Right? It's so nice to meet all of you, and thank you for having me on as well. And
Oh yes.
you know, looking forward to staying connected with all of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, great
Bye.
talking with all of you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.